Hello there, and thank you for staying tuned to LTN. You are now just in time to catch your favorite business segment program of Business Tuesday. On today's episode of the program, I am at the Kenya Bankers Association office, where I will be joined by Hesbon Nyakundi, who is the communication officer of KBA, who will just be telling us more about the Kaa Chonjo initiative, an initiative to enlighten the consumers about the safety of using mobile money and also about the card transactions. Later on, we are going to be linking up with Chris Migwambo in our studios, who will be speaking to Nelly Ndonye about this year's Social Media Week. Thank you for joining me. My name is Eddie Nyado. Now, as I promised earlier, I'm now joined by Hesbon Nyakundi, the communication officer at Kenya Bankers Association. Mr. Nyakundi, welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
Now, Kenya Bankers Association is running an annual card and online safety awareness dubbed Kaa Chonjo initiative, and it seems to be focusing more on enlightening the consumer about the safety of using mobile card and also online transactions. Is it?
Yes. Now, this campaign, as you rightly said, is about creating awareness about how consumers can use these payment platforms safely, and it has been prompted by the need. There's a low level of awareness among consumers of financial services about the safety precautions they should take when they are using these payment methods. We are exploring awareness on online payments, which are now very picking up, as well as cards for ATMs, all right? As well as mobile money, which is a big deal now, but there are so many transactions that are being done on online platforms. So our aim is to make sure that people are aware what they need to do to make sure that their transactions are safe, their money is safe across these platforms.
Oh, okay.
That's what the campaign is about. So we carry it out annually, and the target is every mwananchi who uses these financial services, because we want to make sure that as technology is being used in these platforms in the financial sector, we want to follow it up with frameworks, which part of it is creating awareness to make sure that people are aware of what safety initiatives they need to take into account, so that we don't hurt technology is a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
If you don't have the knowledge about how to use it safely, it can also be a problem. So we want to make sure that we seal off all those loopholes that fraudsters use to defraud consumers of their money.
Like you rightly put it, that today you find that the mobile money penetration is so high, so that today even the consumers, if they're not using the ATM cards, they are transacting using their mobile money. So now basically, what are some of the precautions maybe that an individual should be aware of?
Now, maybe I need to highlight the reason why we need to focus on this thing more now.
Yeah.
It is because payments on this by using mobile phones, using cards, is secure. The first thing is it's very, very fast. It's just you just swipe. Yeah. If you want to make a payment, you just use a number that is provided. And it's convenient for many people. There's no problem of going to look for change. You know that you don't have change, you don't have coins and so on. So it's a very fast method of making payments. It's a very convenient way of making payments. And so it's convenient for people that way. So the main agenda, the main thing we are creating awareness about is how people to keep their pins secret. Don't go telling your relatives,
your best
friends that is, my pin is like this, go and get money from me from the bank, because you are compromising the safety of your money. Then you're also telling people, to those who are using online banking services, to make sure that they use secure internet connections. Don't go using public Wi-Fi hotspots, because you don't know what is lurking out there. Somebody could be tapping your information, and that way they can gain access to your account and then you'll end up losing your money.
So in a sense, you're saying that the free hotspot and Wi-Fi are not very, very secure.
No, you don't use a public Wi-Fi hotspot while you are logging in to your online banking account, because the security is compromised. You don't know who's running that network, so they can easily infiltrate your system and so on. So you are telling also people to, when you are transacting at an ATM, make sure that you don't just expose your keypad. You're just typing. Just try to cover. It's a secret. It's your secret. Somebody can just look what you're doing, and then be able to copy your PIN, or to see how you're dialing, and then later they will be able to access your money and steal it. So we are trying to make sure. Kachonjo is actually, loosely translates in English, is be keen, be very, very vigilant, about these things, because they're important. They're helping people. As you say, the mobile penetration in Kenya currently is maybe among the highest in the region. So it's also promoting financial inclusion, that people have more access to financial services. Especially in the rural areas and so on. So we don't want these gains to be rolled back by fraud, by people want to steal money from people. So we want to make, because when you are aware, you are powerful. There's power in awareness. That's such that the loopholes people want to exploit. When you have that information, you're able to seal them off, and then you're able to enjoy the convenience of your mobile, of your money, of your financial service platforms like ATMs, mobile money, online, and so on.
Now, I want to give an example. Like when people, like mostly motorists, when they go to the petrol stations and maybe they're filling their cars, and they don't want to use the mobile money platform to pay, they want to use their cards. How safely can they use their cards? Because sometimes you just see a driver giving out his card, it's chip in the machine, then brought back, gives in the PIN. How safely should that transaction be made?
Yeah, now that's a very important point you are raising. This is a public, that they are called vendors and merchants, because these are the people you use their they have machines there that they use platforms to make payments. So the key point of vulnerability at that point is revealing your PIN. The PIN is your secret. When that guy has inserted the card on the gadget, you just enter your PIN secretly. Don't expose your PIN there, because if you do, you compromise the safety of your money.
So you don't stretch your hand out and just
no. You have to cover. It's a personal identification number. It's a secret. You don't have to. You should not disclose it to anyone. Okay. Yes.
Another basic thing that normally happens with the consumer when using the financial services is that I'm going to my ATM. Maybe I've inserted the card, and all of a sudden the ATM machine takes my card and it doesn't eject it again. Mm-hmm. If that happens to me, what am I supposed to do immediately?
Well, that happens, but because of advances in technology, those cases are very, very rare these days. ATM machines are efficient. But in case that happens, then the first thing you need to do is to call your bank. Call your bank and inform them that your ATM has retained your card. Of course, that way they'll be able to prevent any further problems or loss of money. Don't leave the ATM.
Don't just walk out.
Just walk out and just make. It's important to report. Reporting is very, very important, because that will seal off any loophole of losing your money.
Another case example is, lately we have very many people, fraudsters. Sometimes, I don't know whether you also receive certain an email from somebody telling you that, he's an orphan from maybe a West African country, the father left her billions of shillings, and now she is requesting you to help her retrieve the monies. Mm-hmm. And basically looking at it, it's just a scam. Or sometimes you're told that you've won yourself a lottery of $1 million, yet you never participated in any lottery. What should you do about this?
No, it's a very common trend these days. It's called social engineering, where people try to befriend you, but what they want ultimately is to get your personal details. Either they want to get your PIN for M-Pesa or for any other payment method. So they trap you, they sell you, we have this amount of money, we are trying to transfer it. Then you see it's a very good deal.
Very good deal.
It's a very
to
good
resist.
deal. Yeah, you're saying you have found a window of getting rich, you know. But the thing is, these are very common cases these days. Some even do make calls. They make calls, tell you you've won in a competition. That if you want to claim your prize, call this number.
Yeah, you're referred again.
Yeah. But the trick is, these guys, if you have not participated in a competition and somebody is just telling you to claim your award that you have won, just disregard those calls, because they are fraud. The aim is just to steal your personal details and eventually proceed to steal your money from your payment platforms.
Moving forward is that you find that the ATM card has been promoted mostly as just a tool to withdraw money. Do you think banks are doing enough to promote maybe the ATM cards as a tool also to make payments and transact maybe?
Well, it's not a trend. It's a trend that's picking up very fast. Payments, people are going cashless. People don't want to carry wads of notes everywhere they are going because of security reasons and so on. So card payments, mobile payments, online payments are gaining traction in very many points of payment. So that's why we are working closely. Like now in the Kachanjo campaign, we were working with the Retail Trade Association of Kenya to create this awareness, because the truth is that people are using these services. They are being embraced. It's not a question of if, it's happening.
How,
People are moving away from carrying money to cashless transactions, which involve cards and the other platforms I've spoken about. So the point there is, we are trying to create awareness at that payment point level. When you have bought, say, a product online, when you are buying at the supermarket and you are paying using your card, what are the safety precautions you need to take into account? And as I said, one of them, the main key there is make sure your PIN is
jealously protected.
Very protected, because that is the point, that's the entry point into your account, and you don't want to have unauthorized access into your account.
Okay. Now, I want to take you back about a survey that was done by the Communications Authority in 2017, and it shows that financial institutions are exposed to malware and impersonation fraud, with over 4,000 cases reported in the year 2017. Given that 2017 you had those number of cases, now we are doing the campaign, and you've been doing the campaign. Are we likely to see the cases reducing or increasing?
Well, maybe to update that report, there was a report released early this year by the PricewaterhouseCoopers, PwC, which painted a grim picture about fraud. It's not a Kenyan problem. Actually, currently the problem of fraud, the level of fraud has reached an all-time high globally.
Wow, that's
it's not
alarming.
Just not about Kenya. So what is happening now is that people are putting in place measures to contain this fraud. The fraud we're talking about, like now, the fraud where consumers lose money. Okay, we have another kind of fraud where financial institutions lose money, where banks lose money through fraud. Okay, so there are several measures that are being put in place by the industry, across the industry, to protect the consumer as well as the financial institutions. So I know there's a lot of work that is being done to make sure that that level comes down. But we are very optimistic that with those interventions, the level of fraud will eventually come low. We can even eliminate it altogether.
Okay. Now, lastly, as we come to our close, the Kachanjo initiative has been running since 2012. Maybe mention to us maybe a few milestones that it has achieved so far. Maybe.
Well, we've recorded very great strides in terms of reducing cases of fraud, particularly on ATMs. that was the initial point
Where the point of entry now.
But now the awareness rose, and the level of fraud or theft of money at payment level of ATMs came down drastically. So now we are seeing a change of trend, where people now are moving to the areas where we are now starting to work on. That is mobile money.
Mobile money.
Yeah, the levels of mobile money fraud increasing by a great deal. And what we are now doing is to make sure that we also create awareness on that front, to make sure that people are aware that if somebody calls you telling you this and that, you are aware, you are ahead of that. It's important to be ahead, you know. And when to be ahead is to be informed. You know, when you have enough information, then you are ahead of the fraudsters. So when they come to you with some claims, you are able to know, to understand this guy. No,
he's not a genuine
guy. So this year we rolled the campaign on all those fronts. Make sure we brought together payments platforms like ATMs, online, mobile, and then to make sure that people understand the risks involved, so that while we want to focus more on mobile, we don't want to leave, because it's a dynamic industry where we have when you seal this loophole, when you seal this loophole,
another one is open somewhere else.
Then the fraudsters open another.
We change tactics.
Yeah, so we want to keep ahead so that we make sure that the consumers are protected.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nyakundi, for your time.
You're welcome.
And now that has been Mr. Hesbon Nyakundi, the Communication Officer at Kenya Bankers Association, just letting us more about the Kaa Chonjo initiative. Don't go too far, we'll be right back after the break.